Hi, I'm Jane Frizzell. This is Basic Military Riding, and we're continuing through Fort Riley 1935 and Saumur 1912. These are preparatory lectures, and they're very important. We have been spending some time in section 27, the section titled The Basis of an Equestrian Language, which expounds on the law of association of sensations, which is the method by which we impart the four natural aids to the horse. It's the way that the language of riding is taught to the horse by the association of sensations, law of association of sensations. Now, that's a double-edged sword because the horse is going to associate things good, correct, or incorrect, right or wrong with these sensations. So that is why what the horse associates is very important, and the clarity of the initial associations are so important. And I could go on for hours about that. Most horse trainers are employed because people are careless with the initial associations that horses make. But there is a still surviving group of correct horse trainers that actually educate horses and don't just fix them. And those guys are who I'm here for, you guys. Now we're going to leave section 27. We're not going to forget about it, but we're going to return to section 22, which is where we first began. And I'm going to reread. The reason why section 22 is so important and where we began is because it tells us what a trained horse is, what this finished horse, what our task is. We are making a trained horse. Section 22 general. The trained horse is one that understands the rider's intentions from his slightest indications and immediately responds to them with exactness, lightness, and energy. In other words, he's sensitive to the leg and light on the hand. So that is what the education of the horse is intended to impart. At the end of the day, that's what we want. But there is a system and a process to achieve that. And the next paragraph in section 22, I'm going to reiterate, I've already gone through this, but it's worth repeating that we're talking about training, which is the education of the horse. This is a separate phase in its life from its start or breaking in period. Now, training is distinguished from breaking in that during the breaking period, acclimatization and physical development are of the utmost importance, and familiarity with process and arenas and working in arenas with your little friends and tack and being and mounting and very baby stuff. Training is distinguished from the breaking period, during which time the horse's development, physical development, and acclimatization are of the utmost importance. And the rider at the time of the start period makes many concessions to the young animal. So there, it's a little baby. We're very generous. They're very innocent and can be foolish and dopey, and we make many concessions to the young animal. However, school starts with the training period. The horse has been prepared for this. He's been in nursery school and kindergarten. So this is not mean, but now you are going to go in first grade, and now you're going to learn to sit in a desk and follow teachers' instructions, and you're going to learn the curriculum of an education. So during the training period, the horse learns to submit to the requirements of the rider and must give complete obedience. This is like deportment in class. Now, I was always one to lean in my chair and be like this, but that is not, I don't let horses do that. I'm amazed that I got away with it in school, but I would sit in the back a lot. I was that type. So, but I am not that type as a horse trainer, and I don't like horses that act like that. So, but the main point here is that there is a separation from the start and the education. And most people outside of Western Europe are in a perpetual repeat of the start over and over, and they never even get to the education of the horse. I'm going to just say this, Xenophon, the famous Spartan general, I mean, he's the ultimate basic military riding guy, right? He sent his young horses out to an expert. He didn't start them. He sent them to a young horse expert, and then he would get them back when they were had enough condition in their physical development and had been acclimatized to some of the basic things like getting groomed and tacked up and led to the arena and lunged and things like that. Then he would take over the education of his horses, but he didn't try to start them. So important. I hope you guys are hearing me. This program and what I train is the education, not the start. Okay. Training isn't started until the horse, strengthened by fresh air and rational conditioning, is free in his forward movement. He's a contented little boy. He has confidence in riders. He's not scared about mounting blocks and things like that. And he's in shape to learn the language of the aids and to subject himself to their requirements. So he's ready, willing, and able to learn the language of the aids. Now, we already know he's going to start to learn these things by the law of association of sensations. See how this is all fitting together? Now, this is what I really want to, this is the point coming up that is the subject of today. And the trainers in this program really reference this a lot, especially given when they have to navigate the crazy horse world right now, because there's so much wanting of science and new methods and all this bullshit, and like people are smarter than they were 100 years ago. They weren't better riders. So these are the standards by which we can evaluate what we are doing in the curriculum. To obtain good results, training must be based on sound doctrine. It should follow a method and should conform absolutely to the rules of both. So what we are training, the method that we are training, we are using the forward riding system. We follow basic military riding protocol in accordance with standard operating procedure per the cavalries of the world. The training must be based on sound doctrine, and it must follow the method, which is the forward riding system. Now, we already know one of the doctrines is the law of association of sensations. I'm going to skip ahead. Doctrine is like the creed of riding. Calm, forward, straight. Some people say loose, forward, straight. It's the same thing. A doctrine is a group of principles whose validity has been established by reason and justified by experience. Now, that's the statement that several of the trainers in this program like to say, like, keep your science. I'm going to go with centuries of riding that has been battle tested, established by reason, and justified by experience. I got in an argument once with some scientist in Australia who was sharing, is that what it is, on Facebook? sharing her scientific study, which was completely anti-riding, anti-horsemanship, and came back at me. I said, "What the? This is cockamamie. This is not a good idea." And she says, "Well, I did a scientific study." And I'm like, "Well, what was the sample size of your scientific study, and what was your control?" And she said, "The sample, I tested 17 horses." And I'm thinking to myself, there's more than 17 horses in my aisle. You, when these guys who wrote this page down, a group of principles whose validity has been established by reason and justified by experience. Established by reason means hundreds, probably thousands of strategizing, brilliant horsemen through the eons and centuries established this system by reason. And then they justified it not with 17 horses, with more than 17 million, probably, all over the world, in life or death tests. The tests were life or death. And when they weren't at battle, these horses provided everything for their civilization and culture, for their farming and their transportation. So these were very reliable methods that they taught the horses. So that's my spiel on this. Now, I think it will help us if we start to outline, what is the creed, the doctrine, the principles, the methods. Key principles that we train by are: ride your horse forward and set him straight. These are also known as the 2 golden rules. And I will provide a link in the description below if you want to know more about the 2 golden rules of riding. And those are just a given. These guys who wrote this, they assumed you already knew those, but I'm going to give you a link to them, so don't worry. This is in italics. The fundamental principles of training concern themselves with the development of a calm, forward, straight, and manageable horse. Calm, forward, straight. Calm, forward, straight, manageable. Manageable is rideable. That is a horse that is loose, forward, uphill, keen. That is a horse that understands the rider's intentions from the slightest indications and immediately responds to them with exactness, lightness, and energy. In other words, he's sensitive to the leg and light to the hand. So what I am imploring you is to learn these doctrines, principles, and methods before investigating the modern science. And I can call it cockamamie because I've tested. I know cockamamie is a professional assessment based on that which has been established by reason and justified by experience. Calm, forward, straight. 4 actions: go, turn left, turn right, stop. Basis of an equestrian language, which is made up of the 4 natural aids taught to the horses by the law of association of sensations. 2 main principles of the art: forward and straight. I'm going to link them down there. They're also known as the 2 golden rules. You see what this is? This short little section in here, it's like, let's use it as our cornerstone.